And there we have a Gemini. Okay, for the Space Museum, I'm going to switch back over to the GoPro because the power level of the phone might be getting low. So here you see the V2 rocket. Germany's super weapon. And here is the Buzz Bomb V1. It's technically the V2, V1. And that had a, what was the ramjet engine on the back of it. Inject fuel, has a flap. Once it starts exhausting out the back, it draws air in, explodes, flap shuts, fuel blast blows out, creates vacuum, opens the flap, draws in air and fuel, explodes, and repeats. And that's how you get forward propulsion from a ramjet. This is a Russian Soyuz. So it still has the Russian in the frame. The super missile. So 5 of these to get it into space. Is that Yuri Gagarin? Yep. First person in space. There's Nikita Khrushchev, we will bury you. And the Russians have been nothing but trouble ever since. Of course, that depends on if you're a free Westerner or never knew the difference Russian. And here is, that is the signal that Sputnik broadcasted as it went around the planet. And there you see the Buzz Bomb again, V1. Okay. I don't have time to sit and watch movies. Alright, so here are some more. Now out there, that is I believe that is a panther or a cougar. Yep, Redstone rocket. If you, there was the movie recently about the black ladies who helped calculate the orbital path for John Glenn. Very good movie. And I guess being Redstone, this would be the engine. Redstone rocket engine. Okay. This is Peenemunder's America. Yeah, so this was a bunch of the German scientists making rockets for the United States after World War II. Russians and Americans seized a lot of German scientists after World War II to gain superiority in technology. So this here is a section of the German border wall. I actually saw that as a kid in East Berlin. And you can remember the Ronald Reagan's famous statement, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. And there is John F. Kennedy saying that we're going to go to space.
God's blessing on the most hazardous and dangerous and greatest adventure on which man has ever embarked. I do.
To put a man on the moon before the end of the decade, and they did it, I think it was in 1969. So this is a Mercury capsule. Prima Donna, powering the rocket. Is this? Oh boy, look at that old electronics. Wow.
Circuits don't fail me now.
Yeah, there are a couple of transistors right there. Wow, that is old stuff. A couple of diodes, the two white, two black. That was at the early age of solid-state electronics and what is it? Semiconductors. Oh, now here is good perspective. Over here, the V2 rocket, Bell X1, X-15, Mercury Redstone, Mercury Atlas, Gemini Titan II, that's on top of a Titan ICBM, Saturn 1B, that is a smaller version of Saturn, and that is the Saturn V that went to the moon, and there is the space shuttle, and this is SpaceX. So, thank God for Elon Musk, or we would not be in space right now. Go Mars. I say, go Mars. Okay.
Yeah, just let me know if you want me to take a photo.
Well, do whatever you want. There's a Titan 1 missile engine. Titan 1 had two rocket, what do they call them, bells or bezels or something. Interesting. That's the nose cone of a Titan. So this is kind of an interesting thing here. Here is an F-117. Its leading edge is off of the wings. Those are the intakes for the engine. Radar deflective material. And I don't know, I think that the paint is off because it might have been like hazardous to people. And here's a personal favorite. Look at that beauty, an A10. And this here's the other side of the F-117 Nighthawk. Not very fast, but hard to see. And up here we have an X-15. And the X-15 is the hardest or fastest atmospheric aircraft ever. Rocket propelled, launched from a B-52. So yeah, the A-10, that is an amazing aircraft. Not very technical, fly-by-wire I believe, but really did the job. So there you see the 35 millimeter GAU Gatling gun, 35 millimeter, twin engines, heavy duty wings, titanium tub around the pilot for protection. Then you can see the landing gear is offset to the right to make clearance for the cannon, and the cannon is enormous. Here is a Thunder Chief, I believe. Don't want to go this way too far because I got to go the other way. F-100F Super Sabre. There we go. Yeah, Thunder Chief had the air intakes on the wings. Okay. Yeah, that's a beauty. That had the sleekest lines of almost any aircraft except for the SR-71, which we have here. Big, beautiful aircraft. And this was the drone that flew with it. It was carried between the tail, between the two nacelles. So what do we got? Don't know what these are. It might be the cameras. That's what this jet was for, was taking pictures. Terrain objective camera. I guess the reader board for the other things is on this side. Look at that beauty. What a beauty. (2,200 plus miles an hour, 85,000 foot ceiling, and that's just what they tell you. The actual numbers are classified. Two-seat model. Camera again. Astro Inertial Navigation System. Okay, my bad. It's an Astro Inertial Navigation System. Before GPS and all that stuff, they needed a way to know where they were, and that was it. The DEF-H remains classified. However, it's possible that its use related to actively jamming enemy radar signals. Yeah, very interesting. And I don't know if we have anything similar in capability to this. It was, skin is all titanium, and the titanium is Russian, and it was purchased clandestinely through third parties. Now here's a good one, an F-105 Starfighter. Very, very fast, not quite as maneuverable. Had these thin little wings on it, so it had to be going fast to be able to take off and remain flying. And then it had a long turning radius. It was an interceptor in that it would come screaming in head on to a target or up behind it, and could basically make like one pass, and then that was it, because the fuel was gone and the turning radius was so long that it couldn't do it. Couldn't come around and take another pass. And this here, I'm told that the turning radius of an SR-71 at full speed would be about the state of Montana. And this is the engine. What is it, like a J58 or something like that? What do they call it? Yeah, J58 engine. And just an amazing piece of equipment for its time. The altitude it worked at, the speeds it accomplished, just incredible stuff. And look at how the bolts are tied together so that they won't come loose in vibration. Early version of a helicopter used to call this the flying banana. You'll see these in old 1950s monster movies like Them. I think it made an appearance in that. 98% of all helicopter missions were pioneered in a Bell helicopter. And there is the V-22. And there is the Cobra. And yeah, the Cobra there, you see two blades. Super Cobra AN1Z up top, that is 4 blades. And then they also have the old Huey there and the new Huey with 4 blades up here. So this here is another early helicopter. And that one, early helicopter. That was a standby helicopter for years in the Army. And it had a radial engine, I believe. Exhaust here. And then, I think that up there is like transmission. What is it, 3-blade design? This one's 3 blades. Sikorsky H-03S1G. First flew 1946, February. And here is the winch to carry people up, United States Coast Guard, so this would have been used for rescue. It's a tight seat. I don't know if I could get my butt in that. And then I believe this had a radial engine. There's a little pusher plane. Oh, and here we go. There's another Franklin engine. And here it is pictured with a Tucker. One of them. Very cool. A very good design. J-2 gyrocopter. I think this might have been in another Bond movie. Learjet. Those were so cool back in the day. And it had these great big pods on the end of the wings. Popular in designs back then, not anymore. Little tiny helicopter. And no, it looks like it's got little jet engines on the end of the rotors. Not really a very good design in my opinion. But, you know, you never know until you try it. So this is cool. 3, 6, 9, 10. Carry 10 people in back there. Then pilot, co-pilot up above. Sikorsky UH-34D Seahorse. Nowadays, the big helicopter is a CH-57K Super Stallion, something like that. Okay, there's a rocket. It
looks like you're having fun.
Oh, I'm enjoying the heck out of myself. H-19D Sikorsky Chickasaw. 50s, 60s. Post-World War II utility helicopter. And this, isn't this like a Sea King or something like that? Or is, I don't know, is it a Huey? Oh, Sea Sprite. 22,000 foot service ceiling, that's pretty good. And it's got a lot of caulk around the windows. Yeah, so that was the rotary wing flight section, OH-23B Raven. Well, you could get 3 in there. And there is that Franklin engine right out of a Tucker. Not really. And so I do not know what this engine is, but we're going to find out. Tomatsky R-29-300 Soviet turbojet. Yeah, so that is the Russian engine. And what missile is this? Is this a Titan? If this is a Titan, then it's bigger than what I thought it was. Okay, I think this might just be a Titan. Yep, there we go, Titan 4. That is a big one. Look how far down that goes. Today's improved version of the Titan 4B, launched NASA's Cassini-Huygens spacecraft to Saturn in '97. Yeah, Cassini, that was one of the most worthwhile space missions ever done. And here you see the back view of the F-117, and the jet thrust came out through those slits on either side of the tail. Very interesting. Living in space. Yeah, I'm waiting for the day where we have a ringed space station. A single ring space station is one of the only truly reliable shapes to have rotating in space, because other shapes become unstable and can flip at intervals. There's an Apollo 13 replica capsule being picked up by a, looks like a Sea King up there. Here's a moon buggy replica. This is a Russian version. Here's the lid, solar panels on it. I think it failed almost immediately or something. So I guess it lasted for 10 months until the batteries failed. Not enough solar, or not good enough battery technology. So this is one of the things that I understand is that to keep the rocket from melting, they ran liquid oxygen through the rocket bell to keep it cold, frozen liquid oxygen. So that's like a couple hundred degrees below zero. But that way, the metal wouldn't. Here's about 3 minutes of pictures. This is Time magazine showing the space race. This is the shot of the two bells on a Titan missile. And I don't know what everything is in here. These are the pictures. And we just kind of took these randomly throughout the show. That's me looking at it. So most of these pictures, I believe, are from Kelly's phone camera. It's a backside of the Gemini capsule with a gold foil covering the back. That's I think that was a telescope. So this here shows the tail end of the A-10, and there is the Global Hawk and an I think, can't remember what that is, a Freedom Fighter. There's the F-117 stealth fighter or bomber, and it's a lot bigger than I thought it was. I thought it was like this little thing, but it's actually quite long, quite large. And it still has radar reflective capabilities that are very good. It's good for certain situations, and the angular shapes on it do a good job of reflecting radar away from it. So this here is one of everybody's favorite aircraft, the SR-71, also known as YF-12, and just a beautiful bird. This is the undershot of an X-15, and that was one of the coolest aircraft ever, rocket plane. And that print is too small for me to read. And there's another picture of the X-15 with Old Glory in the background. This is the drone that goes on the SR-71. You see the picture of it there. And there's another shot of the SR-71, and I believe it was a two-man crew. I'm not sure if it had a third seat or not. That's the engine for it, the venerable J-58 F-104 Starfighter. Germany, I think, is one of the last countries in the world to use that jet. And there is the picture of how the thrust from the engines came out, and it's just if you find out more researching on your own about the J-58 engine, it's just an amazing piece of technology considering from the era it was built. It was the first jet to really accomplish all that it accomplished. So now we're looking at the business jet end of the F-104. The wings are very narrow. It didn't carry, I guess it had a small fuel load. It was very fast, but it wasn't hugely maneuverable. And I guess there were quite a few crashes in it during the learning period on its flight characteristics. So I don't know a lot about the helicopters, but they have a pretty good collection of old helicopters in the museum. And there's the insignia of the U.S. Air Force on it, but another F-104 picture. And this is just a little scout helicopter. And these are some of the early designs of helicopters. And that one there, you could actually buy this helicopter converted into an RV. And this one here was called the Flying Banana. And that helicopter that starred in a lot of movies in the 50s. And there's the insignia again. So there you see it's one of the earlier helicopters that was developed for use. Good visibility out of it, I gotta say that for sure. And there is a helicopter that was out on the tarmac, Evergreen Aviation and Space Museum. So this was a little drone helicopter scout for the Navy. And this is that H-19D Chickasaw. I guess it had a big radial engine in it. This one here had a couple of turbine engines in it up on top. And that is, I think that's a picture of the Titan missile that got mixed in here. There's the F-117 again, and as I say, it's bigger. And this is the Titan IV. It is a long, big missile. It couldn't stand up inside the museum. It would go through the roof. Backside of the F-117. And we're still looking at the Titan there. And there is the lunar rover, moon buggy. There is the LEM, lunar landing module. There's, I think it's a Sea King rescue aircraft that was used to pick up Apollo and possibly the Geminis. You see the hoses piping on that rocket bell, and they use liquid oxygen to cool it. That thing there, you see that the steel plate on that was top secret, and I think I remember the guide saying that it reduced vibration, and the Russians never figured it out. Okay, so this here is a Navy something or another, I'm not quite sure yet. OV-1D Mohawk. Okay, well, this looks like a Navy version, but the pictures are Army, and it looks like a ground attack aircraft with several rocket pods. Okay, let's go see what this Russian thing here is. Vega mission. Okay, to Venus. And Venus is a hard one because the temperature is so high that all the electronic connections melt. Looks like a mushroom.
you're close enough to read "Beware of Jet Blast," it's probably too late.
Yeah, if you can read that, it's too late. There's the exhaust from the turboprop. So here we have an F-15. Look at that beautiful bird. F-15 Eagle, that is. F-15A, first version. Single seat. Here's a 2-seat. And still one of the dominant aircraft in the world. And there's the nose-on view. Let's go in a little tighter. And maybe just a wee bit tighter again. Okay. And over there, what is that one? Can't walk through there. Oh, there's a bunch of telescopes. Admission required to get in there. I guess we cannot see that. Yeah. Okay, that's a MiG. MiG, what is it, 26 or 25? Oh, MiG-23 Flogger, swing wing. Okay, that concludes our trip through the Evergreen Aviation and Space Museum. And just a couple of things here. There's a turbojet engine and there's a turbofan engine. Oh, turbofan jet. 707s, KC-135. JT-9D high bypass turbofan jet. Here it's being tested on a B-52, the first 747, and then a DC-10. Okay, so that is the end of our tour. And look at the size of that thing. All right. And up there is a Global Hawk. Replica, I'm sure. Okay.